Hi everyone, welcome to Dark Marketing. I'm your host Big Dom, and what I want to talk about today is Spintax. Spintax is one of the most important things that we utilize, no matter whether we're using Money Robot, GSA Search Engine Ranker, RankerX, SEO Autopilot, etc. And why is it important? Because it gives us the ability to turn a single article into multiple articles to be posted in an effort to create some uniqueness. However, as I always say, think about logistics. So you want to be able to diversify as much as possible. And you want a good quality syntax for your Spintax. But unfortunately, it doesn't always spin very well. Now, I have Spin Rewriter, which provides an API key so that you can directly connect it to GSA Search Engine Ranker, SEO Autopilot, RankerX. Like, for example, SEO Autopilot has a free built-in spinner. They're not all the same. You will get varying results using different spinners. And in fact, while I can come here and manually enter my article and extract the Spintax, and SpinWriter, they even have a plugin that allows you to put in your WordPress site so that you can spin content on your site. However, I don't suggest that because you don't want to be spinning your content on your websites using this kind of thing, okay? In the realm of doing backlink posts that are low level, it's another story. So, one of the best spinners is actually built right into Money Robot. When we launched this to go to a new campaign and you put your article in here and you spin it, you get some really good Spintax out of here. However, it's very simplistic, okay? And so now of late, I have changed directions completely and veered away completely from using any Spintax generated by any of these softwares. And now I have turned to CPT-4. Now, originally, when CPT-3 came out, you could not ask it to generate Spintax, but that has changed. And in fact, if you get the CPT-4 and have the AIPRM Chrome extension for the prompts, which is free, and you can just Google it and get that. You'll get all these great prompts. But there's tons of them. So let's see what they got on Spintax. And there are 2 prompts for creating Spintax. And they are excellent, okay? Because I'm able to take a really quality article about something and generate some very high quality Spintax. Now, why is this important? That's because my clients use certain specific phrases that ordinary Spintax interchangeable words are not going to work. For example, the word test. Test cannot be swapped out with another word like exam or eval or something along those lines. In fact, it must remain intact. And it frequently is used in combination as part of a 2-word keyword phrase, of which there are many. And so I need something that really recognizes that. And what I found is that using the Spintax generation from CPT-4 is excellent because it doesn't change the meaning of the content that I am trying to generate. Now, of course, this is going to take a little while because this is lengthy. I'm going to pause the video and let's wait till this gets to the bottom because then I want to show how I basically take a look at that Spintax and clean it up. Now, you can see, because it's being generated into Spintax, it gets considerably longer from what I pasted in. So, at several points, you have to hit the continue writing in order for it to continue. But once I've got all of that and I've got it copied, then I drop it into a document. And I clean it up. I get rid of this formatting. And something's not right here. And ongoing. Something went wrong here. Let me back up. Ongoing. That should have met something here. So, but it didn't. But we can just remove that altogether. Evolving continuously, constantly. Yeah, something went wrong here. We lost a bracket, and this is why it's important to check. Ah, no, these are part of the same. Okay. Little fix there. And I come down, and I get this crap out of here. I've got a typo here. Provides. It wasn't videos. Provides. Okay. And I get the whole thing cleaned up. Likewise. Get this out. And there we go. Oh, nope, one more. Okay, now what I do from here is I'll take my syntax, and generally what I found is that I'll need to space these out more between paragraphs. I'll hit the enter key twice. Sometimes I have, subject titles, so they'll get like 2 spaces and then 1 space before the paragraph begins. But we'll want to space it out a little bit, as you can see, once we get it in here. Just kind of cleaning it up. Like this, we might not want to space that so much. So we want to look at what it's saying. And up here, oh, again, keep that a little closer. Okay, now let's grab all of this. And then what we want to do is you want to preview it. You want to make sure that when it spins, it's not going to read ridiculous. And a good way to do that frequently is then just take it, slap it into your money robot or whatever your spinner is if you have, and view the output, preview it. All of these softwares, whether you're using Money Robot, GSA Search Engine Ranker, SEO Autopilot, RankerX, they all have a preview mode. So you can take a look at your text and see, you can see I've got some spacing issues that I want to clean up. But what I want to do is I really want to look and make sure that everything that it's writing makes sense. See? And I'll spend some good amount of time on this because my clients, I can't just put any old BS up there and let it just come out and not have the right meaning, because should they come across it someplace on some low-level, poor algorithm search engine somewhere else in the world, it's going to be a problem. The wording might be able to change, but it has to be accurate. Now, an important thing to understand, let's just take a little quick tips here, because I don't think I ever covered this inside of any of my tutorials about Money Robot. But what Money Robot does, if you click over here on these right-hand side, you'll get the advanced options, okay? Now from here, you can enter YouTube videos that you want put into it. You can give URLs to images, another really good idea, to add your own URL images that you can apply right into your blogs, makes them much better. You can also select if it's before or after the article. And likewise, see this? Links, number of links. Well, let's go up here. These are the generic keywords that it uses when we're generating this. Okay? So it'll grab one of those. However, if you have keywords in here, which you should obviously, and those keywords are in your article, when you preview this, it will take a keyword and attach it into the article using that keyword. So just so that you know, it's smart enough to actually do that. However, and of course, my post, my keywords that I'm putting into this keyword field, they are in all of my articles. Now, again, think about logistics, because in my case, I'm not using these features. I'm going to be loading my articles from a folder, okay? So I'm going to have them pre-created, and they're going to look like this. I've got my title separated up here. This is a series of videos that it will rotate through with Spintax, and this is a fixed piece of text that will rotate through a range of links and keywords that are actually going to be in my money site links list. So I add that at the bottom at the end of every one. And generally I'll put about, it depends, 4 to 6 articles if I'm doing a money robot. Obviously if I'm doing GSA or I'm doing SEO autopilot, I'm doing more. And while I always say that Money Robot is the simplest of most of these applications, it can become very powerful if you take advantage of, you can also, you don't have to go with these generic keywords. You could add more. You can put your own keywords in here to force it. And, you can think about how you can use that creatively, like learn more about your keyword, etc. kind of thing. So, in my case, I don't rely on this. I put everything into my posts so that it's all there. But what I do, and of course, when I load from a folder, I turn off the spinner because I'm not going to need the spinner. They're already pre-spun. But the real trick here is just to use this and preview your content so that it looks good and so that everything works the way that you expect. Because if I take this and I'm going to put this in here, and now I've got my title generating from the file, I've got a video, I've got all my text, I've got a read more link, and I've got my own thing generating at the bottom, and every time I spin it, it's going to change. See? So this is very important. In doing very high quality Spintax, I can't stress it enough. And trying to do the most diverse campaigns you can, if you can make 6 really nice posts using Money Robot, generating some really good Spintax, you're not going to get any better Spintax than what you're doing, than what you get that's generated from ChatGPT-3. And that's because it's smart enough to understand. And you can also give it additional parameters, explain to it certain things that you need to maintain the consistency of what the article is about. Now, just to demonstrate, I put the other spun article, the one that I took from a blog article that I wrote about SEO, and I put the keyword SEO in there because I know the keyword SEO is in here. So when I launch the preview, I'm sure we're going to get it. That's strange. There we go. See that? So it does get things from the keywords in there, but I don't like to rely on that. Understand? That's why I do a little bit of my own. I put a tremendous amount of work into my actual final posting, the actual Spintax. And I do a lot of times a lot of individual changes of keywords or the links that are going to go in there, so that I don't want to be limited by the general processes that are governed by the softwares. Now, different softwares are different. You got, like in GSA Search Engine Ranker, you have much more control over your anchor text and frequency, and you can have more than one. However, it all really starts with the Spintax, and that's why really doing something that's high quality, so that every time you run a preview and it generates, it always reads correctly. Now, in these examples, this Spintax is changing individual words, but in some cases, you can actually spin whole paragraphs and not just have individual Spintax for words. And you can have Spintax inside of Spintax, which means you can spin between paragraphs, and those paragraphs can be spun. So for example, I could take these first two paragraphs, add an additional set of brackets. Go here, go to the end of this one, put a breaker bar in there, and now let me go down here and add another one. And what's going to happen is it is now rotating between two different paragraphs, but this paragraph is also spun. See that? Completely different. And while we're seeing a variation, that's because it's random. It doesn't necessarily go back and forth. It might pull the same one 2 times in a row. See? So we're actually spinning paragraphs as well as Spintax. Again, logistics. So when you're thinking about doing some really comprehensive and some brilliant campaigns, and of course you want to be able to reuse your content again in the future. So the more things that you can do to diversify it, with a lot of mine, I'm able to take pieces from certain articles and piece them together into other ones and rotate actual content. So I make some really excellent final output from my clients. I spend quite a few hours, and I may spend, really just for a single article up to an hour for my very premium SEO clients, because I have to make sure that the quality of the backlinking is not only good for the ranking and the keywords and all of that, but it actually reads correctly as they would demand it. Now, not everybody has to deal with the type of clients I do in the semiconductor industry, where there's a certain standard. But that's why my approach is to keep these from really coming up in search results, and rather to generate them accurately so that they more effectively influence search results. But that's not the only place that I use Spintax. I use it in my websites as well, but not to randomly spin an entire page like we do in this software. Let's take a look at that. Now here's a little Spintax I set up on just a test web page on one of my websites, and you'll see when I refresh it, it changes, okay? And it doesn't have a lot of change in it. Let's just take a look at the source. I use the Divi Builder on all of my sites. So this is my text module. And we're not working in the source code. Because this is a special plugin that handles the Spintax. And this is my plugin that I created, and I'll talk about that in a minute more. But you can see the basic Spintax here. All that's required is to have this opening tag and this closing tag, and that will tell the system to handle this Spintax and rotate between these words that you can see we have outlined in the example. And it works fantastic. But again, I want you to think about thinking outside the box, because we don't just have to rotate words or phrases, we can also rotate entire paragraphs, even internal links. Now, why would we want to do this? Because Google wants to see our sites updated. Dynamic content scores higher than static content. So with a little ingenuity, you can go a long way to making your website, your articles, your content, blog things about paragraphs, interchange certain words. Sometimes it just takes a little bit, a few words here or there that do not alter the meaning of your content at all. But when Google crawls your website, it's going to see that there are changes, no matter how minute. So these are some this is a very important and creative approach that I use in my actual on-site SEO, and most especially for my clients. Now, I'm not going into all of the approaches that I do with that, as many of them are unseen by the end user, but many are seen, and I use this plugin to do that. I also make a range of what you would probably call doorway pages, pages that are designed to score, rank, and lead the visitor into the product. However, I do it with an extremely stealthy approach that makes the page appear that it's another page naturally occurring part of the website. And that's another video. But I can be a bit more liberal in my ability to rotate that content, and I can interchange paragraphs. Or what I frequently will do is, at the end of the day, Quillbot is really a form of a spinner, only it's not providing you the Spintax. But you can take any text and basically put it in here, and it's going to paraphrase it. And that is the end result of what we want. And I might take, several paragraphs that are well paraphrased and rotate entire paragraphs on web pages. And this allows for Google to create sort of self-updating content. So when Google comes back and index and crawls that page again, well, what happens is it sees some changes. I will have entire paragraphs that have rotated that actually also contain Spintax. So even if it lands on the content being very similar as the last time, there's still some changes. Yet the changes are so subtle, end users would rarely know, as that content is not the sort of content that they're going to be coming back every day and rereading. And so as a result, it's generally a one-time visitor. And so whatever variation the format that they receive is ultimately fine. And this is an extremely powerful tool. And in some cases, I separate sections, and when I say sections, let's just, let's go up here to my home page. You could see, as most pages, we divide them up into sections. And in some cases, for some clients, I literally have a list of bullet phrases that will run along the header of a section, and there'll be 4 keyword phrases. And it rotates a list of phrases that are contained in certain phrase groups. And I'll have heading 2, then a group of heading 3, and then maybe a group of heading 4, and they act as like separators. They look like separators, or almost like police crossing tape, that the words emphasize the content on the web pages. It's an aggressive strategy, but it works. And using this tool, I don't use it here on my site in this fashion, but I do have rotating content on this site that is strategically placed so that it's not available for the user, but it's still detected and seen by Google. And this is an extremely useful tool, and I'm sure just my talking to you about it, you're already thinking about how you could re-optimize your site. And this is really critical, that if you're really trying to beat the life out of your blog sites, you've got a lot of content, but you're not updating a lot, and you need to really get in there and update. Well, if you're going to update with Spintax and do it creatively. And this allows for a very controlled approach, because my plugin simply provides the mechanism to power the standard Spintax, and you can use it anywhere in your website. And you can get it here on SEO Depot. Now, if you head over to SEOdepot.com, under our plugin section, you'll see I've got a new plugin, and I've been working on a number of plugins that I'm going to be making available. And I got a short write-up page here about the plugin. And basically, this is a fast and lightweight plugin. It will not slow your website's performance. It's easy to implement. Just add the shortcodes around your Spintax, and bam. Use it anywhere in your text, rotate anything, header tags, paragraphs, links, Spintax within Spintax. The possibilities are really endless. And how I use this tool is part of my daily approach in all of my SEO edits on my websites and my clients' websites. It's compatible with Divi, Elementor, just a basic Gutenberg, or any builder or theme. It will work. And currently, I'm only offering it for a brief time for $99. You get a lifetime license, unlimited sites, unlimited license, lifetime updates. Because I plan to add some more features to this plugin and put it on a monthly licensing model, but I'm currently not doing that. I just want to kind of get this jump started and see how people react to this. And for this, at $99, a lifetime license is a super value. Okay? That being said, let's get back to our tutorial. Let's think about GSA Search Engine Ranker for a moment, which provides a multitude of platforms to post on. So, if I'm going to do guest book posts, right, as you can see, they already provide some default text for you to use, some default spun text. And let's just, you know what, I have a... There's no actual preview for this. So let's just go over here. Let's go new campaign. And I'll just paste this in here and let the spinner. Okay, see that? So this is just some German text that it's got here for guestbook. And it rotates. Now just imagine what you could do with some of these things when you use ChatGPT, okay, and there's Spintax. You're not going to get a better result. And I'm telling you right now, this is one of the best tips you're going to get, because the output from this is so much better that will make the quality of your content so much better that even if you're just going to take your article and slap it in and generate the Spintax and let it just roll the dice with it as the way it is without proofreading it, then you need to be doing it with ChatGPT-3, because you're going to get that level of intelligence behind it that's going to give you a much higher quality output. And of course, ChatGPT-3, you can be using it for everything. I mean, from creating the initial article, then taking it and spinning it, and then really analyzing that, because you always really want to proofread and make sure you're getting quality content, because this all goes to defeating AI, you know, that detectable AI that Google's going to have. Now, in most cases, most of your backlink content is not going to get directly crawled by Google, but rather the data of its scoring is going to be picked up by Google as it starts to pierce the veil and climb upwards. And let's not forget, posts that are created with a lot of these softwares are going to show up in lesser search engines around the world. And they're also going to come under translation, depending on what country they're in. And especially if you're global, it's very important to really have good quality content and Spintax. I mean, look, to be frank, the quality of what I create to make my postings and the Spintax, that is the tip of the spear, the cornerstone of everything I do. Without that, if I put all this effort into setting up these softwares and I make some disastrous mistake with my articles, you know, it just takes the juice out of everything. That all that time that you put into it, potentially days and hours, days, even weeks of running or reusing stuff. So it's important to really take the time to get familiar with Spintax, read, proofread, learn how to, you know, preview your Spintax. And there's a few free resources that you can slap Spintax into on the web, or if you've got Spin Rewriter. But as for me, I'm getting out of using these. There's no reason for me to do it, because I can test all of my Spintax either using Money Robot for a quick check, or slapping it into a web page using my plugin over here and just, you know, giving it a nice proofread, especially like when I've got images embedded and other content. I really want to see how some real quality is going to look. And of course, there's other things that you can do to go beyond Spintax to making your articles even better. But that is another video. Guys, I hope you appreciate what I'm showing you here with this ChatGPT and how it really can, augment your workflow, save you a lot of time creating but not only the content, but the Spintax that you need to really make much more successful campaigns. It's now my tool of choice. I am not relying on the Spintax from a single software that I use. Everything that I'm using, I'm generating the Spintax from ChatGPT-4, and then I still go through my process of proofreading, editing, and adding additional things. But I wanted to just give you a basic overview, get your brain thinking about the possibilities of what you can do with that and what you can do with my plugin that can really augment the SEO and your strategies inside your website. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to give me a like and a thumbs up and follow and that's it. Guys, see you in the next video.